Hello beauties, I hope you're doing amazing. I am presenting to you my custom-made palette for the month of March. I purposefully picked a small green themed palette in celebration of St. Patrick's Day, and I'm going to swatch these shades and then do 2 eye looks with this palette for you all to show you that you can get creative even with just 6 shades. If that sounds good, let's get started. Beauties, the first shade that I picked is a single from ColourPop. This is the Big 3. This is such a beautiful shade. It's not exactly a shimmer. Maybe they call this a satin shade, but I feel like it's a mix between a satin and a shimmer. It's one of those things that will look amazing in your inner corner, and it has a very soft sheen. I want to say this is generation 1 of iridescent multichromes, and so pretty because from some angles you might not see anything, but then from some other angles you definitely see a shift that goes green to gold. And that is just so beautiful. It's a great shade for the inner corner. It's a great shade for the brow bone. In fact, I'm gonna use it in one of the looks that I'm proud of, and you're gonna see that look in this video. For our next shade, I wanted to pick a dark shimmer because I wanted to go a little bit out of my own box for this video and for this palette. And I'm one of those people who, I kind of don't gravitate towards dark shimmers for deepening out the outer V area, and I'm going to use this shade to do exactly that in one of my looks. This is Midnight Winter from Terra Moons, and beauties, all of these singles that I picked have a green shift. In case I forgot to mention that, that is kind of the purpose of doing this St. Patrick's themed palette. And this is one of those beautiful ones that goes all the way from purple to green with sort of a black base. And in fact, from some angles, I even see kind of a magenta. The third shade in this top row had to be a matte, and I picked a lighter tone to kind of balance out the colors in the row. I don't know what's going on with my hand. Some parts of it is drying because I'm wiping my hands so much. This matte is 96 from Copacetic. This is a beautiful, beautiful green, and honestly, I have a lot of greens. In fact, I have a lot of green palettes, and I don't have another green this color to my recollection. This is a beautiful, beautiful pistachio green, and I just love it for the crease area, or honestly even for across the lid. This is beautiful. I love mattes from Copacetic. I find them pretty good quality and very pigmented. For our next shade, I wanted to pick something that is not very obviously green. So I picked this beauty from Divina. This is Earthshine, which is a super shimmery metallic shade from Divina with a hint of green. It's one of those extreme shines. I mean, hence the name Earthshine, as you can see. So in a lot of ways, you might not even notice the green. So the shine itself is silver, but in the shade, the dark parts of it is definitely green. And it's so pretty because unlike our last color, this is one of those very cool toned greens in order for you to be able to make also sort of cool toned looks to add variety to the types of looks you can make with this palette. I believe the collection this one is from is called Moonscapes, and I should have a video swatching all of the Moonscape shades that I will tag in the description box below. It should also be recommended to you on the screen if you want to check out that swatch video. Our next shade is a dark matte green because we need more mattes in this palette, and we already have a light tone matte, so now we need a dark tone one. This one is Leaf Boat from Shroud Cosmetics, beauties. In my swatch videos, if you've been watching them so far, I always try to use a variety of different brands just to sort of test those brands on camera for you all and show you all the variety of different colors and brands that are available out there. Of course, there are a lot of other shades you could use. I'm sure ColourPop has a dupe for this. I know for a fact that Sydney Grace has a dupe for this, but I purposefully picked this one from Shroud because I wanted to represent Shroud also. So as you can see, this is a very beautiful forest green shade, and that is what it looks like swatched on my finger. Now for the last shade in this palette, I wanted to do something a little bit different. As I mentioned, all of these shades have a green shift, and I wanted to pick something that has a green shift but might not look like it has a green shift, to add even more diversity to the types of looks you can make with this palette. I also obviously wanted to represent more brands, as I mentioned, and other shades that are available out there. This one is Summer Days from Touch of Glam. This is one of those flaky metallic ones. I don't remember the name of the collection this one was from. I can find it and put it on the screen, but I'm also sure you can just search Touch of Glam website for this shade name and figure out what collection this is from. As you can see, it has a very beautiful, almost red pinky shift from a lot of angles, and it's a beautiful romantic like light copper pink going all the way to gold, all the way to green. This is frankly a relatively unique shade. I was trying to find dupes for this shade in my own collection and nothing came to mind, particularly nothing that was this metallic looking. And that is kind of why I wanted to use this one, to show you how beautiful it is. And I also use this shade in the second look that I do later in this video. And in fact, talking about the looks, let's get started with those. Okay, beauties, getting into the looks with this beautiful 6-pan palette that I created. I'm going to use Singe Beauty. I also already primed with Painterly from MAC. Just to speed things up, I'm going to do one look on one eye and a different look on the other eye. And I might run out of brushes because we're doing two separate looks. And then if I do, I'll use some other brush for that. I want to do a little bit of experimentation, and this experimentation is going to make me do something I've never done in these videos before because I want to make sure I'm not always using the same techniques. So if the look is going to come out as something very unusual, I warned you. We are going to use this one, and this is E01, and I'm going to try to do a halo eye with it. So this is going to go in the outside as well as the inside. And I'm just blending it to create a little bit of diffusion and blending into my skin because I don't want to use any matte in the crease or anything. So just blending this into my skin instead. I'm also going to just dab a little bit of it with my finger because I always feel like brushes eat the shade, which is part of the reason why you rarely see me use brushes for shimmer colors. I mostly use my fingers. And now I'm going to bring this same shade under my lower lash line. One brush that I've found more useful in doing these kinds of things is this one from Morphe M149. So let's use that because this is very targeted. I can just put it where I want to put it. I'm going to use Specular from Divina for glitter glue at the center because we're going to use Divina color. You know where I'm going. And we're going into this beauty, super shimmery and beautiful. There you go. Ooh, love it. Now I am going to go with Singe E07, and one thing that Singe still is missing is a brush like this. So in the very unlikely event, Angelica, that you're watching this, this is a feedback. But instead, I'm going to use this one now. I feel like this is a little large. I like the round-headed small ones, but we're going to go into this one for the inner corner. And I don't know if you can hear the car noise. I don't know what's going on outside. I apologize. I love this color from ColourPop, and I seriously hope it's still available because it's one of those beautiful, very muted shimmers that is just ideal for this kind of application. And that is the final look, beauties. And honestly, it took me like 6 minutes to do this whole thing. So very easy and out the door. I am going to bring the camera closer when I do both eyes so that you can see the eye looks from close up. But let's get started on this eye. So I've already primed it because I primed both eyes with Paint Really at the beginning. And for this eye, I'm going to use some of the mattes and beauties. Next time I mention on my channel that I'm not a person who would do an all shimmer look. You can call me out on it because I just did an all shimmer look. So permission granted. I'm going to go into the light green, and copacetic mattes have a lot of kickback. So be mindful of that. They could get all over everything if you're holding your pan like this, like I just did. But look at the pigmentation. I just love it. Look at this. And you know what? For a different type of application, because I don't want to do the same technique all the time, I am going to just bring this under my lower lash line. Now I'm using EO4, and I'm going to go into the green. And I want to use this green to create an impression of a liner. Frankly, I think I can kind of do it with this brush, but if I end up needing some help, I might find a flatter brush. So at the moment, I'm just kind of brushing it against my outer V like that. And now I'm going to use this tiny brush. This is from Give Me Glow, to make this a bit more pointy. Okay, I'm liking that. Going now with specular. And I'm going to put specular here above this because I don't want to ruin that impression of a liner. And then if I have to redraw it, I'll go back and kind of redraw it. And I also need a relatively small-headed brush for this. So let's go with this one. This is something that's from BH Cosmetics. It's from one of their collections. I don't remember the name of the collection. It was like one of the travel series ones. I'm going to go into this because I'm trying to use all the colors in the pan. And I am using this above this liner. This one has a lot of fall off. And I might just end up going in with my finger in a second. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that because the issue is I have fat fingers and I'm almost guaranteed to have to redraw that liner, but it's better to have to do that than to just not get any effect because this is beautiful and it's very green, and I just want to make sure you all can see it. So I'm just dabbing the rest of this because this is very flaky, and then as a result of dabbing, some of its flakes gets absorbed to the rest of my eyeshadow, making it look nice. And now I'm gonna go back with this one and fix the liner. Let's very quickly also go across the lower lash as well. And that is that. And that's the end of the look. Again, both of those looks took around 15 minutes doing all of the shenanigans that I did. I do need to clean up a little bit of the fall off from this flaky shade, but other than that, I love both of these eye looks. Okay, beauties, I went ahead with Manila Long Lasting Liquid Lip from Ofra. As always, is one of my favorite nude lips. And I think it really, really, really goes with this look, particularly with this side. For this side, I would go with a red lip, but red wouldn't really go with that one. So, I mean, this is okay, but this kind of green goes really, really well with red. So now, as promised, let me bring the camera closer and show you this look from close up. Beauties, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also consider subscribing before leaving. I do a lot of similar types of videos in this channel, and in fact, I have a playlist where I create custom-made palettes and play around with them. That playlist is going to be recommended to you at the end of this video. Bye!